Sorry about that. It's bound to happen. Good morning and welcome to the third and final day of competition at the Tbilisi Grand-Prix 2018. And it's a very warm welcome to former world champion Loretta Cusack-Doyle.
Good morning, Sheldon. And yeah, third and final day, and I wonder if it's going to be as exciting as it has been in the past couple of days so far.
Well, we certainly hope so. We've had some terrific judo, not just from the Georgians. We came here expecting that the Georgians would be strong anyway. And in particular today in the plus 100 kilo category, I think that they may be able to do another clean sweep.
I think so. There's a possibility of it. But what seems so surprising with the plus 100s is that the stronger Georgian athletes are all in the same half, aren't they? So that's going to be an absolute battle going on there today.
Right, we're going to take a start, as we usually do, by taking a look at the top 4 seeds in each of the weight categories. We've got 5 weight categories to bring you on this last day. 3 for men, the under 90, the under 100 and the plus 100 kilo category, and then 2 for women, the under 78 and the plus 78. So let's look at the top 4 seeds in the under 90 kilo category. The number 1 seed is Cyril Gross-Klaus of Switzerland. The number 2 seed is Colton Brown of the United States of America. The number 3 seed is Rafael Machado of Brazil. And the number 4 seed is Piotr Kutsera of Poland. Who should we be looking at from that top 4, or maybe anyone else in there?
Well, looking at there's actually quite a few juniors that's in there, even cadets. Very young athletes that's in this under 100s, but obviously Gross-Klaus has got to be the strongest. He took a silver medal in Agadir just recently and is really on form. But just having a little look there, you've got Petgrave, who took a 5th place in the Junior World Championships last year. He's had some really good performances at the beginning of this year. Someone that has great potential for the future coming through and can really upset 1 or 2 athletes along the way. Nabali of Ukraine, again, another strong athlete in Pool B, took a bronze medal in Baku, but also a bronze medal in Agadir as well. So again, there could be a challenge there for that number 1 spot coming through in the top half. At the bottom, well, it's not as impressive, but you have one there in the middle of it on Gonzalez of Cuba, who was world champion back in 2013 and Olympic silver medalist in 2012. Someone that's not seeded, but with that experience is capable of getting right through.
Yeah, he's been out of competition for a while, so that's why he doesn't have a seeded position. But as Loretta's just said, someone that you can't discount in that group. Right, let's take a look at the top 4 seeds in the under 100 kilo category. The number 1 seed is Jorge Fonseca of Portugal. The number 2 seed is Benjamin Fletcher of Ireland. The number 3 seed is Peter Palchik of Israel. And the number 4 seed is Jose Armenteros of Cuba.
Well, 22 athletes participating in this weight category, and there is some very strong athletes. For me, my heart is torn between 2 here. Jorge Fonseca has had some amazing performances this year already, with a bronze medal Dusseldorf, Paris a bronze medal, and Agadir just recently a silver. But down there in the bottom half in Pool C is the number 2 seed, is Benjamin Fletcher, who took a silver in Dusseldorf but won Tunisia at the beginning of the year. And for me, Benjamin is one of these young athletes that he's an intelligent fighter, and he's now oozing with confidence. And the more we see him, the better he gets. So for me, I'm hoping that this young man will get through to that gold position today.
Okay, let's take a look at the top 4 seeds in the plus 100 kilo category. The number 1 seed is Guram Tushishvili of Georgia. The number 2 seed is Matiashvili of Poland. The number 3 seed is Stanislav Bondarenko of Ukraine. And the number 4 seed is Adam Okruashvili of Georgia.
Well, the Georgians are going to be a difficult one to knock off the podium, I think. The performances from all the Georgian team throughout this weekend has been amazing. They have really raised to the occasion, and this crowd have been so supportive and so knowledgeable as well. But I think Tushishvili will take himself right through, looking at that lineup. But again, we've got one or two juniors in here. We've got Spikers Junior, who cadet European champion. He got a 5th in the World Championships of juniors last year. Someone that's got he's got some maturity in his judo, but could upset one or two athletes with the heavyweights. You just never can tell, can you? And down at the bottom half, you've got Bondarenko, which is a very experienced athlete. You've got a bronze medal in Baku, and in Tbilisi last year was silver medalist. So he'll be wanting to go that one further and taking himself into the #1 spot.
We mentioned Tushishvili and who else was it?
Well,
and
got,
Okruashvili.
yes.
But we haven't mentioned yet Levan Matiashvili or Onisa Bukhadze from Georgia. Those are the other two Georgians who I think could come into the mix.
They're experienced fighters. They've had some great results in the past, especially when you're looking at, where is Okruashvili there in Tbilisi. He won it last year. So he's obviously a lower seed in this time, but silver European medalist, you can't sort of count him out really on a place on the podium.
Right, let's take a look at the top 4 seeds in the under 78 kilo category. The #1 seed is Audrey Chermio of France. Her teammate Madeleine Malonga is the #2 seed. The #3 seed is Anastasia Turchin of Ukraine, and the #4 seed is Yarden Myasin of Israel.
Well, I don't think you will knock off into the final. I can see it an all-French final, definitely. They're two very strong athletes. Chimeo, she's unstoppable, isn't she, really, when it comes down to it with these events. But Churchin, who won this event last year, is obviously going to be a major contender as well. So we have one or two in the mix here, but I think it's going to be an all-French final.
Okay, I think I'll go with that as well. Let's take a look then at the last of the weight categories. It's the plus 78 kilo category. The #1 seed is Marina Slutskaya of Belarus. The #2 seed is Yelisaveta Kalanina of Ukraine. The #3 seed is Sandra Jabonsklita of Lithuania. And the #4 seed is Ivana Sutalo of Croatia.
Well, looking at the lineup, we have 15 athletes participating here, but I really do believe that #1 and #2 seed are the ones that will come through to the final. Again, where you've got Slutskaya, who was gold medalist here last year and European champion, and in Tunis at the beginning of the year was gold medalist. So she is actually firing. She's on form. She's had some great performances, Kalina. This is a young lady that, for me, shines, and I've been very impressed, and I've been watching her performance. She seems, as she comes out more and more, that experience, she's starting to sort of reap the benefits from it. And that's Dico of France, cadet European champion in 2016, and for me is starting to push through in the heavyweight division, and is definitely one to watch. But she will be up against the #2 seed
in the first round. Yeah, it's a tough draw.
So that's going to be a real challenging match, and I think whoever wins that will take themselves into the final.
Okay, down in the bottom half as well, Zhigedveri Mercedes of Hungary. She medalled here last year, I think.
That's right, she got a bronze medal. Yeah.
Sofo Somkishvili, the Georgian, is up against Mbairo in round 1. That might be an interesting little matchup there. So there's a few things to be looking at.
Heavyweights, you just never know how it's going to go. You've got Kabadze here for Georgia, and based on the performance that the Georgian ladies had yesterday with that bronze medal,
that may have inspired
them. Rise and inspire them and push them forward and make that achievable of a medal here today in the plus 78s.
We're going to go to mat #1. We're going to start by taking a look at the opening round in the plus 100 kilo category. It's Andrew Melbourne of Great Britain. He faces Jalil Shukurov of Azerbaijan. It'll be Melbourne in the white judogi, Shukurov in blue. good size, hasn't he, Melbourne? Look.
Well, he's a big lad, yeah. Bumped into him yesterday and the day before, and...
or bumped off him.
Bumped off him, yeah. Got a bit of a creak in my neck looking up at him, but yeah, he's a big lad. I believe he's in the forces.
It's not a bad place, is it? Oh,
Drops
mate, come on.
10 to walk straight on there. The reaction just was so slow and too late there. And the Azerbaijan just really capitalising that it doesn't... Well, there you have it. A very convincing win. Goes to Azerbaijan with a Wazari throw, and Yosakomi to a Wazari, making it a Wazari Aseti a pawn. So that was a great start for this young man.
Right, we'll put that down to a lack of experience at international level, because that wasn't the sharpest of, you know, low Seonegis I've ever seen.
Yes, I'm quite sure he'll be very disappointed in that performance.
And having gone over, avoiding, you know, getting caught on the ground was the next thing you needed to do. But he just isn't as sharp as he could be if he's given more experience. So
yes,
he needs a little bit more experience before we have a really good look at him. On the mat now, Adil Orazbayev of Kazakhstan faces Renat Seidov. Look at the difference there.
I know, it's like...
You saw that low left Seonegi. Seidov just stepped to his left, pushed down, and avoided it without any trouble at all. It was like, you know, an exact replica of what had happened in the first contest, where Andrew couldn't avoid it.
Yes.
Seidov, much more experienced, saw that come in, stepped off to the side, blocked it, no problems.
Yeah.
So I'm not being too harsh on Andrew. I'm just suggesting that he might need a little bit more experience, and then he can avoid those sorts of problems. Sorry.
Well, Seidov, big lad, isn't he, in the Russian team? Extremely tall. What we're actually seeing, though, now in the plus 100s is a lot of the under 100s starting to filter through into the heavyweights, the overs, and doing some great performances from these athletes. But Seidov, he was a world bronze medalist back in 2014. Orazbayev there really struggling against the tall Russian and making him look very passive. You can see that right hand onto the collar there, controlling very nicely, just taking his time to set up his next move. Uchimata, nicely executed, very powerful indeed, scoring the ippon, and Seidov goes through to the next round at the plus 100 kilograms. And there we have the highlight of that very technique, that beautifully done. Didn't really need to get the leg up that high, with the size of him. Well, it was always going to be a struggle there for Orazbayev, and he'll be quite disappointed, but a very convincing win indeed. Well, now we have, staying with the plus 100s, Nurgaliyev of Kazakhstan. Repechage of Lithuania in the blue. It's the first round of the plus 100s. A great strong attack there from Nurgaliyev. The Lithuanian picking up the first Shido. A little bit slow on the mark here. Needs to start coming back into play in this contest. A little bit of a wake-up call for him, picking up that first Shido. Can he get a positive reaction from that first warning? Well, we're coming up to 3 minutes remaining in the contest. Kazakhstan at Sutemi was her attempt. Good strong attack. Kazakhstan using his feet quite nicely there and trying to break up the balance of the Lithuanian.
I forgot about that again. Just going to give you a heads up about where we're going to be. There's going to be no score there because it was one way or the other.
It was a bit 50-50 there, and more of a panic being on the edge. He was really under a bit of pressure there. Has been right from the beginning of this contest.
Yeah, the heads up I'm talking about is where we're going to be for the next few fights. We're going to stay on mat number 1 because we've got round 1 of the plus 100 kilo category here, and then we've got round 1 of the under 78 kilo category, and it's the number 1 seed coming up next, Audrey Chermio. So we'll stay there. She's going to be up against Nazgul Maratova. That will be the next contest, and then Larissa Grunwald of the Netherlands is going to come up, which means that when she's on the mat, we will have in the chair with Loretta Esther Stam, who'd previously fought for Georgia, but had before that fought for the Netherlands anyway. Yes. So we'll get to chat with Esther, and she can tell us a little bit about what's happening with Georgian women's judo, given that Chantaria took a bronze here yesterday. So I'm going to vacate the chair and let Loretta have the company of Esther Stam.
A little bit of girl power, that's what we
need. I'm slightly jealous, actually, but that's another matter. We'll leave that. Right, so the next voice that you'll hear joining Loretta Cusack-Doyle will be Esther Stam.
And as Sheldon was saying, it's an absolute delight to have Esther Stam here joining us here this morning. Good morning, Esther.
Good morning.
How are you feeling?
I'm very good.
And what is it like to be back in Georgia? Because obviously you're retired now, so no longer competing for the Georgian team. But you are here now, sort of revisiting and catching up on old friends, aren't you?
That's it. Like, it's really good to be here and seeing the Georgian team, seeing my friends here. It's really good.
And how do you actually feel now that you're retired and you're watching, like even yesterday, some of the athletes that you used to compete with, and they're still battling away for places towards the Olympic Games? Is there part of you that you feel like, should I keep going? Do I want to keep going?
To be honest, I was pretty sure of my decision because physically my body was just done. Yes. So. Yeah, and I think also mentally it was a really big adventure. It was really good, but now it's time for the other athletes, and I'm not feeling to go back on the mat, so I think that's a good sign. Well, I will always miss it, of course, but.
Well, when you said that your body is sort of spent, it's tired and it's sore, and we had a wee chat yesterday, didn't we? And we were saying that you got back onto the mat, and you then realised why you got off it.
Yeah, that's
because you felt really, really sore, and it was quite a painful experience to sort of revisit the Randori scene. But it's not surprising. You had a career that spanned over 15 years, apparently, yes?
Yeah, I started pretty young, so when I did many international tournaments. I've also been injured quite a lot, so I think that took a toll on my body, and I still really love to do it, but I think in the end, after 15 years of high sports, then you just feel
Well, you
it.
were hitting some really high targets, even at a cadet level, with European Youth Olympic Days, where you took medal there, European cadets, junior European medals.
Yeah.
So you were really hitting those targets when you were competing for Holland. Now, for you, looking down on those results, it just seemed to be that turning point was when you moved to 70 kilos, and when you also moved to Georgia. Why did you make that move?
To the 70 kilos or for Georgia?
For both. Well, I know for the 70 kilos because you're such a tall athlete. There's no doubt about it. You were very tall for the 63s. There was one or two athletes that were very similar to yourself, but you always looked in the most politest way. You looked unwell because you looked like you really did struggle to make the weight at 63s. It really wasn't an easy thing for you to do. But you looked so much healthier and you looked so much stronger when you made that move to 70 kilos.
Yeah, it really, to be honest, it took me some time because in the end I never got up to the 70 kilos. So that's why it was a struggle to stay in 63 or go up. But I knew in the end it was better for my health to go up. So, but I had to change my judo a bit because in the 63 I was one of the stronger athletes, and in the 70 I was the less stronger. So I had to really change my judo, and that also led, of course, to my change to Georgia because there were so many good athletes in the Netherlands, and I had to start from zero, and to go up in I think it was like 3 years before the games. So to go up to another category, I was with Kim Polling, Linda Boulder. It was just like a mission impossible to even go up to the Grand Prix level. So that's why I took my shot in another country.
Yes. Well, it was a good move for you, and it did pay off, didn't it?
It did. Yes.
You got to the Olympic Games, which was always a dream for you.
Yeah,
but you also won a European medal as well, and a Grand Prix medal for Georgia, which was one of the first, I believe.
Yeah, I got one for the Netherlands, I think, but I think in Georgia I got my better results.
You looked as if you were much more contented within yourself as well, and that you were taking a little bit more responsibility of your direction and where you wanted your career to go. And now that you've retired, do you feel that you're satisfied in what you've achieved?
That's always a little bit complicated question. I'm really satisfied because I knew everything I did to get the best result, so I could not have done anything else. Maybe I could have done things better, but at the moment I made the decision the best I could. So, and I'm obviously pleased that I got my European medal. And you always look at the really good ones and you think, okay, I won a world medal. I didn't get a Grand Slam medal, but yeah, that's the way it is. You cannot always look back and
definitely
go for more.
Well, we're just coming up. We're just looking now on the screen here, and we've got this young lady for the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Talk us through a little bit about this athlete, because obviously you would know her very, very well.
Yeah, I trained with her. It's already a while ago because the last few years I didn't train so much with the Dutch team. But she's really talented, and I think she's getting stronger and stronger.
She's a youngster that's coming through that just seems to be oozing the confidence. The more we see her on the world circuit, the better she seems to get. And it is just it's a confidence thing, I think.
I think so too. And she's in a really tough category in the Netherlands now with Marine Verkerk, Guusje Steenhuis, and even Karen Stevenson. So she's up with 3 seniors that are all really good. So, but I really think she has it in her to get big medals.
I totally agree with you. And then when you go back to saying about the Netherlands and the core of athletes that you have for the women, it's a very, very strong. The heavier weights from the 63 up, so competitive in Holland, isn't it?
It's always
so difficult, and this is one of the problems that you found, wasn't it? It's that you were up against such talent that to get out of your country to represent it, it was a battle and a half before you even started, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the problems, but I think it always got me really good.
Success, they say, success breeds success, doesn't it?
It's true, because I think because of all the competition, we always have really good fighters, so I think it's in the end it's a good thing. For me, of course, it was also really frustrating to be already in a good level but never really get to the big tournaments, because you have at my time you had Elisabeth Willeboorts and Annika van Emden. Yeah, they both have Olympic medals. So
yes. Well, Ferrari there with a Wazari taking the lead with 2.5 minutes remaining in this contest. Now for the Dutch athlete, she's really now got to step up her game in this contest if she wants a chance to go into the second round. And that's always the hardest thing. First fight, the pre-competition nerves, you never know how your day's going to go until you get that first contest out of the way, isn't it?
And Ferrari is not an easy opponent, you know.
Ferrari, she's tough. Most of the Italians, the way they fight, sometimes they can be very technical, but where they might lack in the technical expertise, they give in their fight and their condition. They're very strong, fit athletes, aren't they?
That's true. But Ferrari also has some good skill, I know.
Yes.
So she's a little bit different than the Italians, maybe. But I really like it. But it's going to be a tough fight, and let's see what happens. So it's 2 minutes.
Well,
left.
she's battling away there, but Ferrari, she's just staying that little bit in front each time. Just doing enough, but she's still got a long way to go. And if she starts to accumulate the shidos, like what we've seen yesterday and the day before, there was a couple that actually were in the lead, picked up 3 shidos, and Sokomaki within seconds of finishing the contest. So that's always the danger, isn't it?
And now something happened, obviously. And also, I think the Dutch, like Groenewald, she's in good shape. So they will keep fighting until the end.
She's a very strong-looking athlete, isn't she? And that's the one thing I've always said. The Dutch, they're so tall, aren't they? They're a very tall nation, and that's the thing we've always battled. I have even myself in the past for many years. Jessica Gao was one of those tall athletes of 52 kilos. I used to hate competing against because I always felt so dominated by her throughout the years, and a youngster that was always nipping away at me. But so you were always plagued with that, thinking, please don't. Had 2 European Championships finals with this young lady, and where it was 1 apiece. But the battles went on and on. So for me, great experience, but so hard to come across a Dutch athlete.
But it's funny because I'm like the tall athlete, but I always had a big struggle with the small ones, because for me they were hard to grip and they were down on in seonages, and it was
really like little Jack Russells nipping away at your ankles and just getting those long legs out of the way. But it was the times that you normally would throw that arm over the top and then clamp in was when you knew you were in trouble. There was no doubt about it. And that is the advantage of having the long limbs, which
the first shido, by the way.
know well. But there's the shidos starting to accumulate, and we've still got 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. Now, that doesn't sound, for a lot of people out there thinking, that's not a long time, but it's a lifetime out there when you're battling against somebody that is really trying to come back at you, knowing that they are down, and obviously their aim is to get through to the next round.
Yeah, and especially with only 3 shidos, so for it to be on Sokomaki, it's just really little.
Yes. And how do you find the new rules, the adaptation of these rules? Do you think it's a positive thing for athletes and for judo itself?
I think, like with the 3 shidos, it's good because then you really rule out the passivity. And that's changing a lot. And I think now you're getting to see more scores. I don't know if it's because we're in Georgia and they like to throw big.
Oh, yeah. And they can. They can throw.
But, obviously, they're changing it many times. And I think as an athlete also, you just have to go with the change. And I think if you're really a good athlete, you're always going to... be good, you know.
You must have found when they put in the rule about, it was disqualification straight away, the leg grab.
Yeah,
loved that.
That was a big thing.
But for someone with the long legs that like to come in with the uchimatas, the fear was always the legs being taken away, grabbed away from you. And knowing that that was no longer, that was a rule, that they could no longer do that.
That was a
obviously
really big
accelerated
change.
your skills to be able to have the confidence to throw those techniques in.
Yeah, but for me, actually, it was also a disadvantage. That was almost a score.
And that was almost a score there, yes.
That's too bad.
Well, 4 seconds to go. It doesn't look like there's going to be much change now. But as you can see, if she dropped suddenly or made any silly errors there, she could have picked up that third and final. But 4 seconds, it wasn't going to happen. But sadly for the Dutch girl, she's out in the first round. But she's gained a lot of experience. She has been against a tough opponent, but valuable experience for her to move on into the next competition, which I'm sure we will see very soon.
Yeah, she's gonna do some damage in the future, I think.
Oh, I think so. So, where do you go now? What's the next chapter in your book?
I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna find it out. Like now, I'm working in a marketing company and I'm having fun. So, and then let's see later what's gonna happen. But I love to see judo still. So I'm now out of judo in the marketing company, and I'm just looking if I can in the end do something for the sport. But yeah, that's all in the future.
Coaching?
Coaching, I don't know. I love helping the youngsters also in Georgia, but to be giving so much trainings, I don't like it so much.
Yes.
I love to work out myself and to do the trainings, but to give the trainings is a different thing. Like high level, I like it, so let's see.
So now you realize at this stage that what your coach Miriam had gone through all those years from the cadet level, where she was trying to motivate you. Well, she didn't have to try. It was quite easy. I remember you as a young cadet coming through, that you were one of these that was so hungry to win and easy to coach, and Miriam was obviously blessed to have you at time, but you were sometimes that troublesome teenager as well that she had to control at times. But now this is all turned around and you've got this opportunity to become a coach, and now you're a little bit apprehensive about it.
Yes, but I think you have to really love that, and you can see that some younger judokas that are still active, they're already teaching the kids and they're doing that, and I was never really fond of that. So I think if I do it, I would be like in another role, so maybe helping the athletes in another way, like with the whole picture. I like that a lot, because I think it's really important, and with Miriam, she was really good in the technical part and in a lot of other areas. But we were always finding out, because we were the first athletes to find out about like the physical stuff and the mental stuff. So yeah, now we're like 15 years ahead, and we can.
I know. Well, you've learned, you've had some valuable learning tools there from Miriam. She has been a great inspiration for you, and obviously has supported you for all these years, and you will have learned so much which would go completely wasted if you didn't get involved. That's one thing about it. And just looking at the results, the performances of the Georgian ladies, they've actually done very well, haven't they? They got a medal yesterday.
That's so great, and she's only 17 years old. So she has a big future before her, and you can tell that just the girls, I know it's still not so many, and they have a long way to go, but you can tell like it's a world of difference between 5 years ago and now.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to catch up with you, as always, and it's always a treat to see you. But there's somebody that I know that is just itching at the bit, he's getting a little bit jealous, I think. Really.
I think so too.
But was just really wanting to sort of dig away and ask you a few more questions. But again, it's lovely to see you, and I hope you'll join us a little bit later on today.
I hope so too. It was great to be here. And let's watch
well, I'm going
judo.
to leave you here, and I'm going to have a little cup of tea.
Perfect.
And I'm going to allow Sheldon to sit down in the hot seat with you. Right,
Okay,
so
great.
I'll see you later.
See you later.
Morning, Esther.
Morning, Sheldon.
We join, well, I'm joining you with Beata Pakut of Poland. She's up against Nino Odzelashvili of Georgia. It's Pakut in the white judogi, Odzelashvili in blue. I'm not sure if you've seen Nino before.
Yeah, she fought in the 70 kilos. So she was in the European Games and in the World Championships, and she has some skills. She did a lot of sambo, and I don't know how she's going to do in the 78, but she was quite good in the 70s. She doesn't have so much experience.
Well, she's going to get some now.
Yeah. And against a tough fighter.
I was about to say, yeah, because Pakut's got some experience. 2:54 left to go, so there's plenty of time. Single Shido picked up by Nurgaliyev. Pakut now picks up her own penalty for having stepped out of the area.
And I think for Pakut it's going to be difficult to fight Nurgaliyev because she's left and right-handed. And they're a little bit like you don't know what they're going to do, so...
They had some degree of success yesterday when the Georgians picked up a bronze medal with Chantaria.
Yeah, I just told Loretta that's so great, and also for the Georgian women judo. And she's only 17 years old, so she has all the future in the world.
Oh, nice Kojigari, just bringing her opponent down. Good score. Difficult to avoid not falling into the osaikomi as well.
And then if you're in the osaikomi, it's only 10 seconds, so I don't see many people coming out of that. That's really good.
Everything working for the Polish fighter there. You had all the weight of Nurgaliyev going backwards. Nice hand movement from Pakut as well to follow that technique down, and Nurgaliyev couldn't get out of the osaikomi position.
No, I think Pakut just went through really well.
Right, so Beata Pakut goes into the next round. It's not going to be the same degree of success for the Georgians today, I don't think. One was plenty, to be honest.
That's, I think that's so great to have a medal of their own.
Right, we've got the number 2 seed in the under 78 kilo category coming up. I think we already had a look at Audrey Chermier. Let's take a look now at Madeleine Malonga of France. She's up against Paula Kulaga of Poland, another Polish fighter heads. Malonga in the white judogi, Kulaga in blue.
You can see she's so strong. Wow. Do you know Kulaga?
I don't actually know. I've never seen her before.
Me neither.
It's a first look at this particular fighter.
But you can just see Malonga is overruling her.
Yeah, the English term is she's all over her.
Yeah.
You know, just non-stop. Now it may look as though that Wazari was a little bit generous, but what you have to take into consideration is the rule change, and what it said was what had previously been Yuko was now going to be regarded as Wazari. So there are some times where it looks a little bit generous, and I think that's one of the cases where they may have just squeezed out Yuko before for that. Well, that's now Wazari.
I think athletes have to get used to that because it can be over so quickly with 2 Wazaris. Or 2 Yukos, basically, in the case.
Yeah, exactly. 2 Yukos is then, you know, Ippon.
It's
and
enough.
That wasn't the idea. I'm sure that wasn't the idea. Right, we've got Yahima Ramirez of Portugal coming up against Lisa Dollinger of Germany. It'll be Ramirez in the white judogi, Dollinger in blue. I'm not sure whether you've had a tussle with either of these two.
I didn't, but I think because Ramirez, she's already been there for so long, but she's always been 78. So I never got to train with her, and Lisa Dollinger is one of the youngsters, so...
Oh, okay, so you missed out on both of these then.
Yeah.
Maybe we've had a few Ippons on this map, and that's why there's a delay in getting one of the fighters down here. Maybe she's still stuck in judogi control. I'm just going to move that a little bit closer because you've got such a nice voice, Esther. It would be nice if they can hear you a little bit.
I can imagine.
Right, okay. Well, that was my excuse anyway. But I'm looking down at the far end of the competition hall where the fighters come in, and I can't see Ramirez.
No.
I can't see any urgency down there either, with people rushing around and waving to her saying she's on her way. So maybe for some reason she's, you know, either felt unwell and that hasn't been conveyed to us. But the clock has started, so with us having received no information, we now start the clock, and if she can't get here in time, then it'll be the end of it.
That would be a shame, really.
Now, in the past, they just gave 30 seconds, which is the case here. Yeah, 30 seconds, yeah. If you're not around, 30 seconds, and then you're off. So for some reason, Ramirez was unable to make an appearance. Right, let's move swiftly then to the next contest. Anastasia Turchin of Ukraine faces Evelyn Shalanki, Shalanki Evelyn of Hungary. It's Turchin in the white judogi, Shalanki in blue. I'm going to ask you again if you've been lucky enough to be on with either of these, because Turchin has been around for a while, hasn't she?
Yeah, I've trained with Shalanki, I think, in Hungary, but back then she was still quite young. So, but she has some skills and she has a good fighting spirit. And Turkin, of course, she's really strong.
Yeah.
I didn't fight with her, but I'm wondering what this is. I don't know if they met before. Let's see what they do.
Once in a while, I will admit to having, you know, a favourite judoka, either because I just like them, you know, or because there's something about their judo I really like. And there's something about Anastasia Turchin that I really like. She's been around for quite a while now.
Yeah.
I saw her as a cadet and a junior, and maybe this is the cycle for her to do something. And it's quite possible that she'll get the timing right.
I think she's been around for quite a while, and she has some really good results. But she just missed out on the top. But I really think now she's getting more mature and she really can make it this time. And Shalanki is just a really young fighter, Justin. I don't know how old she is, but I think she just got senior, so...
Yeah, she's one of two fighters there in that weight category for Hungary. Abigail is the other. I know she's married. I can't remember what her married name is.
Good question.
I've just spotted our the International Judo Federation competition manager, Dr. Lisa Allen, down at this end of the competition hall, and she's chatting with Yahima Ramirez.
Ramirez is really upset, so something went wrong there.
It's not as though it's the first competition that she's ever been to.
No. Then I'm always wondering,
how did it happen?
How can this happen, you know?
Single Shido against Shalanki at the moment. 2.5 minutes left to go. There's plenty of time.
Oh, that's Rosari.
Yeah, nice effort on the left side. Couldn't quite finish off. Didn't have the top half of the body pinned to finish off that Osai, was it? Looked like a good position to begin with.
I think so too. But Shalanki was fast to roll over. And pretty flexible, apparently.
Yeah. Maybe there's a little sign there of why it is that Turchin hasn't won some of the bigger medals, because there are so much opportunities that you just cannot allow to go to miss.
Okay,
well, she finished her off there, so you know.
That's her answer.
She's got really good throwing skills, so I'm not going to say any more now.
No, but it's true. You have to be so sharp and follow in the Nawaza immediately, and don't miss your chances there.
Strong athlete.
She's really strong.
Turchin could do something today. The draw suits her. He'll come up against Madeline Malonga, I think it is. She's in that half of the draw.
That's going to be an interesting fight.
Yeah. That should be, I think that should be around the semi-final point, if I'm not mistaken, by which time we'll know just how sharp the pair look. Okay, let's have a look at Antonia Shmileva of Russia. She faces Linda Politi of Italy. It's Shmileva in the white judogi, Politi in blue.
I don't know these fighters so well, so let's see what they're up to.
We're staying here on mat number 1 because we've got the number 1 seed in the plus 100 kilo category coming up next, Tushishvili. So I'm sure Esther is as interested in seeing that contest as the rest of the people in the venue.
I think the crowd is going to go crazy with this guy.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens in the plus 100 kilo category because they've got such a strong lineup here. Okruashvili, Bukhadze and Matiashvili, as well as Tushishvili. And Bukhadze has impressed me. Sorry, go ahead.
No, tell me. Yeah, we were talking about before with Loretta about the Dutch athletes in women in the heavier weight categories, but here you have the Georgians. Like, it's even crazier.
Well, it's been a while since the Dutch have had plus 78 kilo category, a real contender, isn't it? Who was the last one that you could?
Yeah, we have Tessie Savicles now.
Oh, so yeah, sorry.
We have one.
Yeah.
But before that was a while.
And the reason that I didn't mention her, because she doesn't look like a heavyweight.
That's true. It's really true. She doesn't move like a heavyweight at all.
I really like her. And then there's another girl at under 78 who is not your typical, heavier fighter. I can't remember her name at the moment, but that's just gone out of my head. She was around, was it last week or the week before that she was fighting?
I don't know. A Dutch girl?
Yeah.
Karen Stevenson, maybe?
Karen Stevenson, yeah. The two of them are not your typical, bulky heavyweight.
A little bit different style.
They are, and another English term is, they're pleasing on the eye. They're easy to look at, sorry. Right, Shmela leads by a single Wazari with 2 minutes left to go.
That was a nice movement.
It was shaped to that.
Yeah.
Maybe not the speed that you needed to be able to bring it off, but she had the right
gripping,
idea.
But she had the moving with the hips. It was really good. But for the next one with Tushishvili, it's just he's great with moving. He's such a strong athlete, not a heavyweight at all. I don't know what his weight is, but it's not going to be so much.
Yeah, we normally get given those weights. He could be 110, I suppose.
Something like that. Maybe a little bit more.
12, 15, but not much more than that. You can really see that he's not your typical heavyweight. He's not that tall either for the weight category.
No, I think he switched a little bit between under hundreds and over, and he made a good choice here to go over.
Yeah. As did Or Sasson, the Israeli.
Yep.
Switch, and Kapalik has made that change now. Henk Grohl has made the change. There's a few going up there, Loretta, and you were chatting about that earlier. I heard that. Ojigari, and then down goes Politi for a second score. And this time Shmileva was in the nice position for the Osawaza, should she have needed it. Stayed nice and close to her opponent. Right then, well, we were talking about Tushishvili, and he's making his way to the mat now as Shmileva and Politi finish off the protocol. The bow is over, handshake, and off they go. And here comes Tushishvili. He's up against Jalil Shukurov of Azerbaijan. It'll be Tushishvili in the white judogi, Shukurov in blue. What's it like stepping out in front of the Georgian crowd? Do you remember the times when you've had to do that with Georgia here?
Yeah, but I missed out on a Grand Prix quite sometimes, and the last one didn't go so well, so I was not so great. But it's amazing to fight for the own crowd, of course. And you can tell they're really, they want to have their fighters winning, and that's just really great. It's not in every country it's like that.
This could be a mismatch here.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the whole shape of Shukurov. He's got more of his body, bent over. He's picked up the single Shido for a false attack. Well, really, it was an overly defensive posture. He just dropped onto his knees.
He cannot even change his posture, you can tell.
It's a second penalty picked up by Shukurov. The cheers that you can hear are for the adjoining mat where Lasha Tavaluri has just defeated Ramin Safayev of Iran. That was on mat 2. Finished off his opponent there, having thrown him for Wazari, then held him. Meanwhile, Tushishvili is looking for a score here. He goes over on the right side.
Look at that.
Not sure if there's enough of the head there. There's only the arm. So he couldn't get a turn on him. Georgians on every mat at the moment. Well, now they're...
And winning a lot.
Lash has just left the mat. That was a good little effort from Shukurov.
It's sometimes the hard thing if you're such a favorite and so much stronger to not make a mistake. Like, I think he's trying to not take too much risks.
Well, it's the second time Shukurov has entered for that low, we'll maybe call it Marotti, Cernagi. And at another level, I think he could be, he could be dangerous, but he's fighting against one of the top heavyweights in the world here. So it's not surprising that he's going to find it difficult. Tushishvili hasn't really got going yet.
No.
But he has now.
That was a nice warm-up for him, I guess.
Yeah. Big left Osodogari. Plants Shukurov on his back here. Big step as well. He's not afraid to stretch, because it's a big stretch, but he manages then to get the hop, which brings him closer, and then he can finish off with the sweep there. But it was a...
Because it could be dangerous to go in so big, that's true. But he had enough confidence there.
Nice finish there from Tushishvili, and he's into the next round. Right, we've got Mr. Spikers on the mat now. He's up against Dimitrios Sumitas of Greece. Spikers in the white judogi, Sumitas in blue. Is this Ben's boy?
What do you mean? Like
his dad. What's his father's name? Spikers, or just happen to have the same name?
I think
he's
so.
Too big and too old, to be...
No, they're not related.
It's just a fairly common name in the Netherlands, and takes a bit of a whack on the chin there from Sumitas. He's a little bit untidy with his gripping, and you can find that from time to time in judo. A fighter who's not that tidy, maybe Spikers will give him one back in a second. Slow him down a bit.
The whole fight looks a little bit untidy at the moment. But
Sumitas picked up the penalty for avoiding to take a grip. The referee in the middle is from Finland. Veli-Matti Karinkantar. He's one of the referees that they're looking at for Tokyo 2020 in exactly the same way that the players have to qualify and reach a certain standard. So too do the referees, and I'd imagine that there are a few fighters out there who've got their opinions about who can referee and who they cannot. And now that you're no longer on the tatami, I can ask you, did you ever have a referee that you thought, oh no, not this referee?
To be honest, no.
Okay.
Really, I think it's not so important as I think it's just a distraction as a fighter. So you just have to do your fights, and if you just don't know.
Or
you can have a little bit of luck with the shidos or a little bit of bad luck, but in the end, I think you just have to do your fights.
Or maybe you had a referee who thinks that you thought, oh, this is a good one, I'm okay.
Yeah, not really either. So.
You didn't pay any attention.
No. Yeah. Of course, you know your referees, but how does it work to qualify for Rio as a referee? Or for the Olympics, Tokyo?
Well, they are judged on their performance throughout the day. Each of the tatami has a referee commissioner who will make marks based on the scores and penalties that are given and the interpretation of the contest from the referee. So every fight has a result, just like the fight itself. There's a result for the referee, how they performed. There's a big cheer coming up from the adjoining mat where Onisa Sanablidze of Georgia has just thrown Mr. Schoenfeld of Germany. We may jump around a little bit, but it's difficult because after this fight we've got Okruashvili and Seidov, and after that it's Matiashvili and Granda, so we won't be able to move. We will be stuck here for a bit.
It's okay, it's gonna be good fights.
Yeah.
But you're sometimes missing out a little bit on the other fights because of that. That's true.
And had we moved, we would have been moving back now. So it would have been a little bit of jumping around. Spite as it is, who comes away with the win. Sumitas was a little bit off the pace there and picked up 3 penalties, which was unfortunate for him. Adam Okruashvili of Georgia takes to mat number 1. He faces Renat Seidov of Russia. It'll be Okruashvili in the white judogi, Seidov in blue. And now that I've got a second, I can ask you, did you ever go back and watch any of your fights and listen to our commentary? Or is that something that
of course
you are kidding? Oh. I hope I said nice things about you then.
Sometimes you did.
Oh no!
If I was winning, you did. If I was losing, you didn't. So quite easy. He's one of the crowd's favorites always.
Battle of the Giants.
Yeah.
Seidov, the taller of the 2 fighters. He's got a little Sotemi waza into the Kansetsu waza combination. I don't know if you've seen that before.
Yeah, and also they fought before, I think, quite some time, right?
I'm going to have a look and see what the head-to-head is for this pair, yeah. No.
Didn't fight?
No, this is one of the Russians he has not been up against. That is really strange.
Yeah, because they've both been on so long. I think if you're fighting Okruashvili, you have to try to keep the speed in a little bit.
Yeah, you don't want him to settle.
No.
That would be the worst case scenario, because that's where he wants you to be, in one spot. The more you can move, the better.
But now they both have to do something. They have to try to start attacking.
The danger here, of course, Esther, is that they could both be given penalties.
That never happened like in the preliminaries, right?
Beg your pardon?
That never happened. Only in the final it happened, I think.
Yeah, it happened in the final with the two Japanese.
Yeah.
But it could happen in another round. It could happen here. And the person who's supposed to fight these would just get a bye.
Wow.
They wouldn't be at all worried, would they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, they're going to have to get going, I'm afraid. Twice they've fought before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Seidov and Okruashvili. It must have been I don't know why we didn't get that. They fought in the European Team Championships. That's why.
That's why.
Yeah. But not in the individual. Both times in the European teams. That's strange, isn't it? They've never gone head to head in the individuals, but they competed against each other in the team championships. Once in Montpellier at the European teams, and then in Budapest. That was back in 2013. We had the European Championships in Budapest. Did you go?
To Budapest, no. That year, that was 2013, I see. No,
Yeah.
I was not there. They're still not. Ooh, that was close.
Osai Komi. Not going to worry about whether there was a score or not. We'll just go straight with the Osai Komi. And Seidov is not getting out that one. My colleague tells me that Tushishvili is only 108 kilos. Incredible.
Wow.
I said 110.
Yeah,
but
very close.
only 1-8. Ramzan Seidov is the referee in the middle. Renat Seidov is the fighter on his back there. But it doesn't matter because it's Okruashvili who comes off there the winner. Well, as Esther was saying, the crowd have got Okruashvili as one of their favourites. And the further that he progresses in the competition, the louder the cheers are going to be. That's nice, isn't it? The camaraderie of the heavyweights. So Okruashvili goes off, having defeated Renat Seidov. We've got Levan Matiashvili of Georgia coming onto the mat now. He faces Andy Granda of Cuba. It'll be Matiashvili in the white janogi, Granda in blue. It's a real feast for the Georgians today, isn't it?
And that looks like a light Cuban there. And Matiashvili has amazing skill, I think. He has amazing judo.
Danger man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's quite heavy, but he has really, I think, he's really agile for his weight.
The number 2 seed in the plus 78 kilo category, Yelisaveta Kalanina of Ukraine, had just gone out against the youngster from France, Roman Diko.
How old is Diko? I think she still was juniors last year.
18.
Yeah, wow.
18 years old. Granda, you can see he's also got that kind of shape to the body. He wants to keep a bit of distance between himself and Matiashvili. At some stage, you've got to come to grips with your opponent. just got himself into an interesting position there, but lost contact with the hands, Granda.
He looks like an under 100 athlete compared to Matiashvili.
Yeah, we sometimes get the printed weight sheet for the plus 78 and the plus 100s, and then we have it here so that we can keep an eye on what the weights are, but we haven't got it this morning. And it's still morning here in Tbilisi, 5 to 12, just before midday. Things are going quite nicely. Had a few big techniques, and can't remember having seen any of the big name Georgians go out as yet, so
no.
Crowd is still happy. Granda has picked up a second penalty, and there's plenty of time left on the clock. Minute 50. I can't see this going the distance now with so much time.
There's not happening so much yet. It's mostly gripping. Ooh.
Two good efforts there. Little left-sided Ojigari and then the Osodogari at the end. That's always the problem for the heavyweights. If you can get one who comes up with quick combinations, because they themselves don't move that quickly. So if you get a heavyweight there that's got good combinations, he can be dangerous.
But even if I think the Ojigari was really good.
Yeah, that troubled him, didn't it?
Yes.
Roman Dicko looks a little bit like Audrey Chameo.
Well, yeah.
Just that first look. We shall see her later on. As I say, she won her contest against Kalanina.
So Matiashvili is struggling with the Cuban.
Right, back to the action. Two penalties apiece. Oh, that was a nice effort, left-sided there. Look for the tired Toshi. Maybe could have dropped for Toshi. Needed to be just that little bit lower, Matiashvili, and maybe Granda would have gone over. 30 seconds left to go. Two penalties apiece. No score yet. Granda with a little Diashi Barai maybe. Oh, over he goes. The Makikomi again. It's the Georgian favourite throw. You name a Georgian who doesn't do Makikomi, and it will surprise me. They are all at it from every single weight.
And he just needed one moment to be in there, and then it was good.
And Loretta Kusakdol is a few feet away. She's noticed it as well. Soda Makikomi from Levan Matiashvili brings Andy Granda crashing to the tatami. That was almost textbook-like, you know, the drag around. You know, you have to come the long way around for that technique.
And once you're in, like, it's impossible to escape.
You're not getting off it.
No.
Yeah. So Okruashvili sorted out Seidov. Matiashvili sorts out Granda. Who else is it that we've got? Bukhadze, he'll be up
next
in a couple of fights' time, yeah. Before that, let's see if we can have a look. No, see, there's no reason for us to move here. Let's have a look at Maciej Szanaszki of Poland. He faces Jonas Inocencio of Brazil. It's Szanaszki in the white judogi, Inocencio in blue. Szanaszki started this morning as the number 2 seed. So it's just as well that we can stay here, because one of the Georgians is going to face him next, if he can get past Inocencio.
Yeah.
The Brazilians have got quite a few heavyweights, haven't they?
Yeah,
David
I didn't
Moura,
know that.
Rafael Silva.
They have really good top fighters. But now they brought some new Brazilians.
Yeah, give a few of the youngsters a run out.
Yep.
Single Shido picked up by the Brazilian. There's plenty of time left. We've only had the first minute. You can see on the adjoining mat there, Cyril Grossklaus. He's the #1 seed in the under 90 kilo category. He leads by Wazari.
He's the #1 seed.
He's the #1 seed, yeah. It's not the highest rated entry that we've had. That was a terrific effort there from Inocencio. Wazari on the board, look at this.
Really nice.
Just goes onto his side at the end, doesn't he? It looks for the world as though he's going to go flat on his back here, but he just goes onto his side. And that was a lovely effort. Low Marotti Seanagi from Jonas Inocencio. Most of the weight seems to be around the midriff of Inocencio. He's another fighter who probably could lose a bit and be at 100. Maybe they feel that the movement is easier for them.
Yeah, and if he can make the quick low morotes, it can be really an advantage for him.
What he did there, he tumbled the #2 seed.
Yeah.
Sanashki has got some work to do here, but there's still time left on the clock. Half the contest still to come. He's Wazari down, Shanashki. Inocencio's picked up a single penalty. I don't think that's going to come into it at the moment. He looks attacking enough.
Yeah.
And in this last minute and a half, he could still burn another Shido if the score stayed like this. Oh dear. I shouldn't have mentioned anything about the penalties because he's picked up a second. Shanashki picked up one, but yeah, the danger, as Esther just suggested there, is, oh, there's the Makikomi, keep rolling. Oh, he couldn't hang on to the arm.
He really has the better attacks here.
Shanashki, for the first time in the contest, just rattling Inocencio there. He just rocked him a little bit with that attempt in Ashiwaza. A minute left to go. The best thing for Inocencio is to finish this off.
And he's doing almost.
He didn't get the lower half of the body in the right position that time.
He was not in far enough.
Yeah.
But his morote is really dangerous.
Odd seconds left to go now. Can't afford another penalty. Oh, he needed to hold on for a little bit longer with the hands. That was borderline false attack there.
Yep. He cannot afford another mistake now.
Just needs to be strong with the gripping. And where's the knee was, I was going to say. It was an afterthought there from Inocencio. I would have fallen on top of him like bricks, you know. Try and take as much time off the clock there. He probably could have had another 10 seconds if he'd been quicker and harder working. It's Sanashki who picks up a penalty for a false attack. Last few seconds here. He shouldn't lose it now, Inocencio.
And he has had the better attack, so...
Yeah. That'll be it. Disappointment for the Polish fighter there. The #2 seed goes tumbling out to the relatively unknown Jonas Inocencio of Brazil. It was a good effort from the Brazilian. Came up with some nice attacks, a good score, and then after that just about had enough gas left in the tank to take him to the end. That was the effort that got him the score.
Yeah, it was good effort. Yeah. Really, yeah, but he really had the better attacks, and I think he deserved to win. So Naki just didn't have, he couldn't grip him.
He gave him one Ashiwaza. That
Yep.
was all that tumbled him, and after that, there wasn't a great deal there. Can't have any complaints about that one. Right, coming up next, Onesa Bukhadze of Georgia faces Dauren Nurgalinov of Kazakhstan. It's Bukhadze in the white judogi, Nurgalinov in blue, and there's something else for the crowd to cheer about here.
And you said you were impressed with Bukhadze?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago I saw him and I liked his movement. He's one of the lighter fighters and he looks dangerous.
And strong, as you can see.
Yes, solid. Here we go.
Whoa. Big throw.
He's not finished yet. I tell you. Nurgalinov won't be in a hurry to get back in there, yeah. His legs are in the air and beginning to flap a bit.
That's never good, but he's managed to save it.
Nice effort there with the... Well, it looked like Ashiwaza at the beginning, but it was more like Yoko Sutemiwaza in the end, wasn't it? Threw himself. I think he threw himself when the Ashiwaza wasn't working. He thought, I'm going to get out of this.
And they changed the rule with the Tomunage to the Jujigatame?
Yeah. Maybe that's why we didn't see Seidov try it.
No.
Yeah, you have to be in Newaza before you can attempt it, whereas Seidov was almost using it as part of the takedown in the transition. He was already into it, so they were concerned that that was dangerous. Single Shido picked up by Nurgalinov. Sorry, Esther, go on. You were going to say something about
I think it's the reason they took it out is because of it was too dangerous.
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
Yeah.
that seems logical.
Second penalty picked up by Nurgalinov. He just ducked his head underneath there.
He's going for it, that's for sure. But he doesn't have the strength.
Terrific turn. Nurgalinov just put the arm round the back to threaten Bukhadze. He felt that, turned him, and came up with the score. And now, chance for the Tatishio Gatami here. If you can just push the head down, wrap the top off.
It's quite high now.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I'd like to see the feet much further down. He's just sitting on top of him there. Well, we were talking about making sure that every chance you get, you make the most of.
This was like the chance you had to take.
And he didn't take it. Let that one get away from him. Minute and a half still to go. And Nurgalinov is brave enough to try something and maybe catch Bukhadze, and he'll regret not having finished off in Newaza. 2 penalties picked up by the Kazakh fighter, 1:20 odd left to go.
That was to be honest, the Kazakh is impressing. Like, he has good judo.
He almost catches him here. That missed opportunity on the ground could come back to haunt Bukhadze if he's not careful.
Wat een komen hier is.
Yep, another one. If all else fails, go for Makikomi.
That's like their plan B.
Yeah, plan
Sometimes
B, yeah.
plan A, but...
So, Bukhadze, they're beginning to fill up those spots, aren't they, the Georgians? Let's just have a look and see
when they're going to
how
fight
the
it.
plus 100 kilo category looks. The quarterfinal lineup: Tushishvili of Georgia faces George Spikers of the Netherlands. Adam Okruashvili will face teammate Levan Matiashvili in the second of the quarterfinals. Jonas Inocencio will face Onisa Bukhadze of Georgia, and we are yet to fill up the 2 spots down in the last quarterfinal. So, interesting times. We're going to see if we can get Loretta Cusack-Doyle back in the commentary position with Esther Stam, and then we'll let Esther take a break in a few minutes' time. Loretta's been off and having a coffee. Right. Stanislav Bondarenko of Ukraine faces Hamza Ushani of Georgia. Sorry, of France. Beg your pardon. I don't know why I said that. Bondarenko in the white judogi. Ushani in blue. And here's Loretta Cusack-Doyle and Esther Stam.
Well, there's been some really exciting matches up until now. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Been ups and downs, and the Georgians seem to be flying through the stages of this competition. And here we have Bondarenko, who is he was one of the 3rd seeds in this competition. An athlete you really can't write off with a place on the podium. He's always consistent. He's a great performer, and took a medal in Baku, and it was silver medalist here last year.
Yeah, he's going to fight for a medal if he comes through, of course, but I think he's...
Well, he had a bye the first fight, and obviously this is the first round. So like we've said before, it's this first match, you never know how your day's going to go until you get the first contest out of the way, and then you really have an indication of how you physically feel, mentally and physically. Johnny there looking a little bit apprehensive. He's really trying to overstretch himself against Bondarenko there. As you can see, that right hand trying to creep up onto the shoulder, but he's not getting the connection really. He has there now on the lapel.
I think Bondarenko's now just keeping the distance and waiting for his
He's
time.
just trying to pick him off, isn't he? He's waiting for that special moment where the Frenchman either gets very frustrated and makes the mistake or overstretches himself. So you can see that Bondarenko is keeping the arm, he's keeping the distance between him and his opponent.
But he would have to change that now a little bit.
Yes, well, he's got 2 shidos now, 1 more. He really needs now to start putting the attacks in. Cannot afford to make any mistakes, and he can't. Well, he's got a big Harai Oguruma there, but falls. He just didn't have the upper body control there, did he? He was just completely fell onto his face. Bondarenko now, you can see, trying to control his opponent's right sleeve. He draws the sleeve down. Now tries to throw that right hand over onto the collar. Frenchman moving him around. Tactically, he's trying to make Bondarenko look passive, isn't he?
He's getting close doing that, really.
Well, he's backing him up there onto the corner, and then once again, Bondarenko just stands still, circles him out round. Well, the Frenchman's doing a good job of making his opponent look poor.
I think it's enough.
I think it's enough to get that 3rd and final Shido, which is a really big disappointment here as one of the seeded athletes coming into this tournament, and obviously the current silver medalist from last year takes the 3rd and final Shido, a Hansokamaki. Marciani goes through to the next round.
That was clever fighting from France.
Tactically, he played that very well, didn't he?
And this is last fight in the over 100s.
Yes, that's right. Majov of Iran in the white. Kostanov of Russia in the blue. This is the last, this is in Pool B, the last of the second round matches.
And after that, there are going to be some exciting fights in the 78.
Oh, definitely.
Good.
There's some really good matches, as you can see. The largest weight category here today is obviously the under 90 kilos, 29 athletes participating. And there was we've just seen, was watching earlier on, and Petgrave, who's a youngster coming through from Great Britain, defeated the Russian to get into the quarterfinals.
That's really
He's
good.
having a great day, that young man. He really is. Defeated the Georgian in the first fight, then the Russian in the second, and now he finds himself up against the #1 seed, Grossklaus of Switzerland, who really is on form today. Iranian coming in with that drop C and Aggie. Well, they were really disappointed yesterday with their performance. They just missed out on a bronze medal, the Iranian team. This is
But they're having a strong team here.
Yes, they're building on it, aren't they?
Yes.
They've got some youngsters coming through. It's a team that's starting to make their mark now, aren't they, in these world tournaments? Drop C and Aggie got in there nice and deep. Russian throwing that big arm over the top. The length of those arms almost touching the belt there. Iranian really trying to keep distance between him and the Russian, but very difficult when you're up against someone who's as tall as him. The Ochu-Chimata combination there, seen earlier on. Nice drops in.
He's fast.
He is. He's good when he drops in. Just doesn't seem to have that little finish at the end, does he?
And also the Russian has his arm over, but he needs the other arm
to
do his good attack. So it's an interesting fight. But he has such a long reach.
Counter attempt there. Iranian obviously panicked there, just decided the best option was just to bail out. Once again, that Russian takes the arm over the top, and that's where he's really dangerous, isn't he? Well, the one thing you've noticed here is that this crowd really do like celebrating every success. It sounds as if they're actually into the final, but we're only on the second stage in most of these weight categories. But the Georgians are absolutely loving this judo here today, and they have every day. They've been very supportive, quite a knowledgeable group.
And they know judo. That's the nice thing.
They definitely do.
They know the rules. They know when Shido is going to come. That's really nice.
And
to
they're
see.
fair. They're very fair.
That's true.
I know you've been in many countries and competing, and there is the odd country you know that even if you stepped in the wrong position, you're up there shouting for a Shido on you. But here they are very, very fair, and they're calling and supporting here. Not just for the Georgians, but they just celebrate good judo.
It's true.
Nice.
They really appreciate some good judo here.
Well, with 1 minute 19 seconds remaining in this contest. A Shido apiece. The Russian again with that arm over the top, which always is very threatening, isn't it? If he can connect with Uchimata. But what he has to do, the arm is over the top, but he doesn't seem to use it. The leg comes in, but there isn't any direction with that arm.
And Majubsi, he still has his arm in between quite strongly. So
he's blocking quite nicely, but...
both two Shidos.
Hips in, oh, so close. just left his feet a little bit short out.
Yeah.
If he'd come in a little bit deeper with the feet, the hips could have raised in under the centre of balance and got the throw. So look there for the Kosota.
Yeah.
Well, he's been threatening that move a few times. That was a little bit deeper there.
But the Russian also, he cannot get the full control. The Iranian looking a little bit more active.
Well, he's looking very busy. Beautiful
drop
Sianagi there. Scoring a Wazari, and the timing couldn't have been more perfect.
You could tell the Russian was getting very tired after the last few attacks.
But most of the work was coming from the Iranian.
Yeah.
His condition is very, very good, isn't it?
It is.
He did a lot of work there. He had to. That was the thing. He couldn't afford to stand still against this very strong right-handed Russian that he really did have to play his own game out here. Tactically, it's paid off. He's got a Wazari, and the seconds are ticking away. And getting another drop Sianagi.
Yes.
Wazari, a Seti Epon, and a beautiful finish to what was a very convincing win. The replays always seem better, don't they? They just look as if they get better and better each time we see them.
But that was a good win from the Iranian.
Oh, definitely.
And he's facing the French.
Yes, and he had a really good win against Bondarenko. So
yeah, it's interesting to see what's going to be
what happens between these. Right, well, we'll go across to mat number 2, where we'll see the number 1 seed, George Fonseca. I just love this guy, I really do.
He's so explosive.
Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he? Absolutely brilliant. And he's got the biggest smile in the world.
That's it. Yeah.
He looks as if he's really enjoying himself out there.
That was what I was going to say. He's really enjoying the fight. Now he's one Yuko, I was going to say. One was
Long gone the days of the Yuko.
Long time ago.
That's making you see more there.
Oh, that's over.
Well, as expected, George Fonseca goes through to the next round, and that takes him into the quarterfinals. But we're going to go back to mat number 1, where we see the quarterfinals. Cimeo in the white, Ferrari in the blue from Italy. Cimeo representing France there. The number 1 seed coming into this competition. Well, as we predicted at the beginning of the day, I don't see really anybody knocking this young lady off that podium at all. And,
no, France, they brought their the really strong team.
Yes, they have. And this weight category, especially the number 1 and number 2 seed from France, for me, I'm predicting that it'll be an all-France final. And both athletes are looking very strong out there against this opposition. Well, Ferrari really a little bit out of her depth in this contest, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she has a really good skill, but Cimeo is just physically, she's so strong.
Well, Cimeo, she's very, very aggressive fighter, isn't she? Physically very strong. And has some beautiful judo. Oops. Well, when we say physical, definitely she can grip fight. Well, this is a quarterfinal, so it's a place for the semi-final up for grabs. 16 athletes participated in this weight. Not one of the largest weights divisions, but
there are some good fighters in there,
the quality that is here, and that's really what it's about, isn't it? It's not about the quantity; it's the quality that we're looking for.
I never like it when it happens, when your gi is all out and...
It's a little bit... Well, when your opponent's gi as well, because you don't have the same amount of control.
No,
you really do not. And sometimes you watch matches and you just feel that there's a real disadvantage to the opposition when the gi is out, because you take a grip, you pull, and you've lost them within their gi.
That's another Shido for Ferrari.
Oh, that's the second one, and we're not even halfway now. So she really is walking a very fine line, whether she topples off at this quarterfinal stage. Well,
now Chimeo has her grip.
Chimeo there looking, grappling away there. Ferrari really trying to stay in play at this contest, but I think it's a really tall order for her. But there's the arm lock as well.
Yeah, we talked before about transition to Newaza, how important that is, and I think the French are really on top of that.
They are excellent at doing that. You have countries such as like Slovenia. They're very, very strong, aren't they? The Germans are very capable, and they're competent down there, and they're comfortable in the Newaza. But the French, again.
And I think they're also training a lot on the transitions, because you can be really good in Newaza.
Japanese as well.
Yeah.
Japanese are very... For me, what I like about the Japanese that are slightly different is that they use their feet like another set of hands, don't they?
It's true.
They love the idea of their opponents being between the legs, and they can actually look up and work with them. Their feet and their arms work together. They coordinate very well, and they wrap their opponents over. They feel it's like their tachiwaza, niwaza, it's all in one. It's comfortable.
True. And I think the French are particularly good at the transition. Like if they're going down, they're super sharp, and they're immediately into the Newaza. And the Japanese, they're also doing the Newaza on their own. Like if someone is on their stomach, they can really do a good technique, and I really love that.
But I think what is happening now is the rules are suiting Newaza. The referees are much more knowledgeable, and they're allowing more time. Many, many years ago, you dropped and you went into Newaza, you literally had seconds to try and look for something. Now, they're just letting the Newaza go until, if they see that there's some action and there's some possibilities, the referees are knowledgeable enough to just let that ride, and we're seeing as much Newaza as we are seeing tachiwaza nowadays.
Yeah, I really like that change.
It is. It's really important for our sport, because I remember, I'm going back years, my Newaza wasn't the greatest, and the idea, for me, it was like second-class judo. If you couldn't throw for ippon, you weren't a good judo player. And going down for groundwork, well, I always felt because I was so small, it wasn't the ideal position for me to be in, and I wasn't confident enough in the ground. And it's when you get older, you realize it's actually easy to win in the ground if you're good. So you tend to develop it, especially when you get older, because you can't run around with these youngsters.
And even I think if you're really one of the favorites, it can be you don't have so much risk in the ground.
Exactly.
So
I think it
really
makes the throws much better. But Meyerson's doing
really
well
good job
here.
there.
It was a nice, talking about Newaza, there was a nice little turnover there. Sadly didn't secure it well enough.
I know they train a lot in Israel on the Newaza, and also especially in the transition. So
the Israelis are a very strong team, and they've got some youngsters coming through nicely now. And I was talking to the coach yesterday, and we're saying about how did he feel about the performances. Obviously, they're the host of the European Championships this year, and so I think they will have some really strong opposition there, but they're real contenders for medals, aren't they, at the Europeans? But what he was saying is that they are looking, they're trying to prepare their athletes the right timing. As we know, there's phases of peaking, and their peaking will be for the Europeans. That'll be one of the phases. But
that's a good throw
there, lovely attack. Scoring a Wazari. Once again, though, had an opportunity there. We're talking about how important
she's still working on
it,
but
she's not let her up at all. She really is still piling on the pressure.
I think that's really dangerous for Meyerson.
Yeah, she's trying desperately to get that foot, but like we said, the Polish, Slovenians, Very, very strong in the Niwaza, and there you have it, the Osakome, and I just cannot see Mayerson managing to. Well, she got a leg.
Yeah, but I think it was already upon Kevin.
There you have it.
That was a nice change of
direction there, wasn't it? It was. She anticipated that well, and it was a real good feel situation, wasn't it? She really sensed what her opponent was going to do and reacted so well. So where it was looking a little bit all that it was going Meyerson's way,
yes,
it just turned it around, didn't it? In the second half of that contest, Paku goes through to the semi-final, but Meyerson will get an opportunity for a bronze medal as she goes into the repechage, and we'll see her a little bit later on.
I think she has to fight Ferrari, right?
Yes. But the biggest test will be for Paku is the Chimeo in that semi-final. That's not an easy match indeed. It's going to be a real struggle there for her.
And now you have Malonga in white and Dollinger in blue.
Now remember, Malonga coming through the junior ranks, and she's always been very special, hasn't she?
Yeah, she is.
The size of her. Uchimata.
I think her physique is just so threatening.
She's so powerful, isn't she? I remember many a time she used to compete against Gemma Gibbons, and those two used to have absolute battles going on. The difference was Malonga was so much younger. She was just this young baby coming through, but goodness me, such maturity in her judo. Well, she's had some great role models like Lucy Decos, and that's come through. That now is a national coach for the French team. You can't get any better sitting on your chair, can you? And getting advice from some athlete, former athlete.
That was a nice game.
Dollinger did well. That was a lovely turn there, wasn't it?
Good moment. She didn't have the best gripping in the end, but
she throws that arm over again. She hooks in with the Ouchigari. Now that's really tight. Dollinger really looking in trouble. Yeah. She was trying to brace on there to try and get the sacrifice, but really knew that if she tried to lift, she was going for the Ouchigari. So there was the worst of two evils. She gets caught with the Uchimata. But they call it the Epon, and there you have it. Malonga
through to the semis.
Through to the semi-finals, and I don't even think that she's broke sweat yet.
Not really.
She really isn't out of breath at all. She's just gliding like that. That'll be a very interesting battle if those two get into the final.
I think so too. I think they fought before, but...
And now we have Turchin coming up. Well, she had a very interesting match in her first round against Solanki of Hungary. She was tested a little bit in the first half of that contest. Smeliva of Russia in the blue.
Good gripping there from Georgian.
She's a very powerful young lady, isn't she?
I think I'm gonna be out for a bit.
So you're actually going to enjoy more of the match, because this is the only thing, you only get to see what's on our screen.
That's it.
But you'll get a wonderful opportunity. But have a nice cup of tea, and I hope that you'll come back and join us a little bit later on and update us on the latest gossip, what's going on the back of house. Thanks very much for joining us. That was Esther Stam.
Thank you so much.
Who is a former international athlete for Georgia and also for the Netherlands, and given her expert opinions on what was going on here and these stages of the contest. So Turchin trying to brace herself off that Makakomi. Turchin picking up a Wazari, now in a lead with 3 minutes remaining in the contest. The Russian has a Shido against her, which slightly changes the dynamics of this contest. Sometimes it's a good thing getting that first Shido because it's a bit of a wake-up for you. It gives you an indication of what the referee is thinking and that she needs to do something about it. It's whether they take that advice or not in the earlier stages or they just continue doing what they do. But the crowd, as you can hear in the background, are just erupting here.
That was for the contest taking place on mat number 3 in the under 100 kilo category. Nemadze has just won his contest down there. It's all over here now. Anastasia Turchin winning out over Antonio Shmileva. Nice to have Esther along, wasn't it?
It was lovely. She's nice to see how well she's doing.
And our media manager, Mark Pickering, just gave us the photocopies of the weigh-in list.
Oh, that's so always very interesting to see.
Yeah, we can touch on that at some stage if you like. Now we have stuck on mat number 1, but we are not necessarily stuck because that's where we would have wanted to be anyway, because look at the lineup that we've got for you. Coming up next, Guram Tushishvili of Georgia faces Joe Spikers of the Netherlands. We're going to follow that with an all-Georgian heavyweight matchup, Adam Okruashvili and Levan Matiashvili, and then we're going to have the newcomer from Brazil, Jonas Inocencio. He's going to face Onisa Bukhadze. So it's all going to take place right here on mat number 1. Tushishvili in the white judogi, Spikers in blue.
And Tushishvili there, as you can see, bouncing his way onto the contest area, looking very confident out there. And why shouldn't he? He's the number 1 seed in the plus 100 kilograms. The crowd are going absolutely crazy here. Spikers trying desperately to compose himself throughout this contest. Takes a strong shoulder grip there, as you can see, as he tries to draw his opponent, but the Ashiwaza from the Georgian just dismisses him totally.
He's in a good mood for this particular contest, isn't he?
He's very, very lively, isn't he? And I think he's come out possibly underestimating the Dutch boys slightly, and I think that's always a danger, that you can be too confident. Drops Yanagi well, he's not too confident. He drops under his opponent, throws him for the ippon, and totally dismisses the Dutchman. Spikers finding himself on the receiving end of that Sodi. Beautifully done, and an excellent finish. Tushishvili goes through to the semi-finals of the plus 100 kilograms.
Well, we're racing along here. Tushishvili is already off the mat and out of the competition hall. And that leaves us with Okruashvili in the white judogi against Matiashvili in blue. One of these is going to go into the semi-final, the other is going to go into the repechage.
And still on target for a full sweep, isn't it, really? Makakomi.
Even Esther Stam was picking up on that.
I know. Okruashvili there, weighed in at 170 kilos, the heaviest in this weight division.
Matiashvili can't be that far behind him, can he?
Matiashvili, well, I'll let you know, 137.
Oh, way off.
Way off down there. Could throw in a 48-kilo player in there with him to match it up. Okruashvili there was very lucky in the earlier round. Seidov just made an absolute massive error against his opponent, fell onto his back and forgot to react, and Okruashvili just fell in place, more or less said thank you very much for the early birthday present, and finds himself now straight into the quarterfinals. He had a bye in the first round. 19 athletes participating here today in this weight category. As I said, Okruashvili in the heaviest of those athletes that weighed in. Seems a little bit more, as I could say, livelier now in this second round, but Matiashvili, slightly younger than his opponent, the protege coming through. But the biggest disadvantage that he has, not only that he is the younger and less, but he's also about 40-odd kilos lighter than his opponent. And that's really difficult when you know each other so well. Okruashvili there, as you see, throws the arm across over the head, draws his opponent's head down. He's looking for that arm round the back, as you can see, that right arm just hovering around there. High left hand collar grip, which controls the movement and the speed of Matiashvili. And this time, Okruashvili on the receiving end of an accident to the eye, and but being a bit more drama from him, I must admit, than his teammate. Suppose it's an opportunity to take that little bit of a breather before they continue. Matiashvili trying to break off that very strong sleeve grip, as you can see there. Not looking the most comfortablest out there, and Okruashvili just defending quite. He's got two hands on, he's controlling, which makes his teammates look quite passive out there, and now picks up the second Shido. Matiashvili comes high now, this time onto the collar, drawing his teammate's head down. Comes in for the Makakomi, which we've seen so many times throughout this tournament. A real favourite of a technique for most of the Georgian athletes, but they are very, very successful at it. Matiashvili at this time throws that left hand over the top, trying to trap. He really hasn't got a clue which way he's going to want to go. He's just really trying to get two hands on his opponent. That's the most important thing, is trying to get a little bit of control there. Okruashvili defends very slow pace here, but controls his teammate, where he looks for the counter. Well, you could see that's been set up. He drops the right arm round the waist, the leg comes behind. Just didn't get that rotation as he started to drop.
That was close.
But it was very close. Matiashvili there. The left hand on the top of the lapel there. Well, we're going into golden score. 2 Shidos to 1. That's all that divides these athletes. It's been a real battle of the Kumikata. Okruashvili the stronger and the heavier of the two. Been able to slightly dominate his opponent that little bit more, and been more threatening as far as the counters are concerned. Where you can see that right hand trying to sneak around the back again, and he's looking once more for that counter. Matiashvili sensed the danger and decided to sort of drop out of place. But now it's 2 shidos apiece. Okruashvili just playing too much of a waiting game here. Now, we saw this in the previous match, but he was given an early birthday present when his opponent attacked him, fell on his back and forgot to react. And Okruashvili fell straight into the osakomi. Matiashvili tried to go for the makikomi, this time didn't have that vice grip above the elbow, slipped down a little too low and didn't get the effect or the result he was desiring. Well, it's 1.5 minutes into golden score. Now this will be a battle. The drop Sianagi from Okruashvili. Well, sadly to say, this could go down to the final shido being awarded. Or can Okruashvili be lucky again and she was there, nicely done, breaking the balance of Okruashvili, making again him look quite passive and playing too long of a waiting game here. Now, he really is getting very close to the mark of picking up that third and final shido.
One more big attack here from Matiashvili. Should sort this out.
Yeah, could be the decider. Well, Okruashvili, he's been around a long time. Tactically, he knows exactly where he is at this moment and what he needs to do. But the brain's telling him, but can the body keep up? That's one thing about this, but Matiashvili comes again in for a nice strong attack. He moves his opponent. There's a block there from Adam Okruashvili, and I think that will be the final block that he makes. Looking at the body language there, I think he knows it as well. As he slowly takes himself
just waiting for the referee's signal here. I'm sure it will be a penalty to Okruashvili. It is, and Matiashvili takes his place in the semi-final. It wasn't the classic that we had hoped for, but there are a few things missing from Okruashvili's timing, and one of them was to recognise, you know, just where he was in the penalty stakes. That's sort of part of it as well. And unfortunately, he just didn't keep up.
Yeah, and the 170 kilo frame, you're not going to be moving too fast, are you, really? And so it was no big surprise on the result on that. The only thing I would say is that having Okruashvili going in to the next round would have given him much more of a chance to make it a clean sweep for the Georgians, because I think he would have less. He's one of the weaker of, I think, of the heavyweights for me. This performance.
Coming up next, Jonas Inocencio of Brazil faces Onissa Bukhadze of Georgia. It's Inocencio in the white judogi, Bukhadze in blue. And Bukhadze has looked really dangerous in the contests that we've seen him in this morning. I like the look of this Georgian. He's got nice movement and good throwing skills. Mind you, Inocencio has given us a bit of a surprise. Slightly unknown Brazilian, and has come out looking very, very good.
Well, yes, he had a really good first round match. Well, it was in the second. He had a bye in the first round. In the second round, he was very convincing. For me, it was quite impressive, this Brazilian.
Is it just the once we've seen him then?
Yes.
Oh, it was against Shashkin.
Shashkin there. And
yeah.
It was a good match, very good match. Georgian trying desperately to throw that right hand over the top, trying to catch the collar. The Brazilian drops down under his opponent. Oh, Kosota stumbling his opponent back. Nice bit of Ashiwaza there. Followed through very well. Just slightly overstretched himself to get that finishing touch to the Kosota, but nevertheless, a good attack from the Georgian. Inocencio. Strong grips, controlling his opponent's right sleeve this time, trying to keep that down from coming over the top. Because he knows that's a real threat for him if he catches the high collar. Drops Sianagi as he blocks that right sleeve. And for the Georgian, that's a real threat for him, and that's Sianagi. You can see once more he's really concentrating, trying to throw the right hand over, but the fear is that he places so much more attention on that right hand being planted that he forgets that the Sianagi is there as he throws forward. The Brazilian has done it a couple of times now and he's moved his opponent, but I'm quite surprised that he has picked up that Shido, especially when we've seen two very, very strong drop Sianagis. Well, I think the Brazilian is going to be looking, well, he ducked under, but I think he's going to be looking at the third and final Shido here, and the Brazilian, his body language knows that. He's shaking his head and he's just most probably cannot believe that it's got to this point. It's just under a minute remaining in the contest. The referee just asking him to tidy up as quickly as he possibly can, but it was a cross grip. Same side holding on to the gi, a penalty, and the third and final one disqualifies the Brazilian. Georgian goes through now to the semi-final of the plus 100s.
Yeah, the errors crept into Inocencio's game there. The couple of low Morotti Sianagis that he attempted didn't rate, as far as the referee was concerned, as genuine attacks. They came at times when he knew he had to do something. He dropped and came back up. So they weren't false attacks. They weren't. He wasn't guilty of a false attack, but they didn't count as attacks. So that length of time was, as far as they were concerned, he was passive. Anyway, the next quarter-final, Hamza Ushani of France against Javad Majoub. Majoub is already on the scoreboard with Wazari. And now the Osai Komi, the Kuzuri Yoko Shiogatami, wasn't tight enough. Couldn't hang on to Ushani. Anyway, here's the score. And he held him briefly in Osai Komi, but couldn't hang on.
A really good result for Majoub in the second round against Bostanov of Russia. That was a great win for him.
It's gone again.
Again, nicely executed. Majoub there takes himself into the semi-final. A very convincing win. But now we can go across to mat number 2, where we have another quarter-final, where it's for George Fonseca, the number 1 seed.
That was just the replay of Ushani and Majoub, but as Loretta was saying, the quarter-final now on mat number 2 between Jorge Fonseca of Portugal and Jashulan Mukhamatkhanov of Kazakhstan. It's Fonseca in the white judogi and Mukhamatkhanov in blue.
Mukhamatkhanov defeated Smith of the USA in the second round, had a bye in the first.
L.A. Smith the third.
Smith the third, I know. And Fonseca defeating Tavaluri of Georgia in his first round. Both had a bye in the first round. This is the second match of the day for the number 1 seed. Sodi attempt there from Fonseca, drops underneath, and yes, you have it. Ippon scored. Kazakhstan obviously a little bit frustrated with himself. Didn't like the idea of he used him as a bit of a sofa there at the end. You see. But a lovely drop, Sodi there. Laying out, stretched out, thinking, well, that's a very good job done. Takes him into the semi-final. Having an absolute blinder of a day, this Portuguese. Now we have Nurgaliyev of Russia in the white. Tbilisi of Georgia in the blue.
Quarter-final in the under 100 kilo category. More for the Georgians to cheer about here if Tsenablidze is able to get past Nurgaliyev.
Well, Margiev there looking a little bit apprehensive against his opponent. He's trying to draw him in, but as we know, the Georgians are quite strong in the counter-attacks. Love the idea of that closeness. You can see the left hand inside on that lapel, blocking his opponent a little bit too much. But both of them pick up a Shido apiece here, which puts the Georgian in 2 Shidos now up with just 2.5 minutes remaining in this contest. Now, it's not the ideal position to be in. One more would result in the hand sokimaki. Georgian gets the high collar grip, attacks the feet, breaks the balance, stumbles the Russian down to his feet. Drops the Anagi there, nicely attempted. Finds himself, what a mistake he's made. Well, the Russian cannot believe his eyes there. He just came in for that Sianagi, rolled over-rotated himself, found himself on his back, and the Russian just said, thank you very much. Well, there you have it, Ippon, and a win and a place in the semi-final. The drop there came from the Georgian, but what a mistake as he overstretched himself there, finding himself flat on his back. So that's the Russian that goes into the semi-final, where he'll be up against Fonseca of Portugal for a place in the final a little bit later on. So now we'll go across to mat number 3, where we'll just see the final bit of the quarterfinals of the under 100 kilos and the bottom half of this draw with the number 2 seed. Next with Fletcher. Georgian, as you can see, leading with a Wazari. Fletcher turning his opponent over. Mate. Well, I'm not quite sure what was happening there. I think Mate just pulled too suddenly, right through the flow of the turn. Well, that should have been a Wazari for Fletcher. It was in the process. That whole movement there should never have been a Mate. Obviously caught the referee on the blind side. And as you look at the clock there, only 5 seconds. Well, if this doesn't happen, then it's going to be very difficult. Fletcher can find himself. Well, he's obviously a little bit frustrated, and rightly so. Nemzadze takes a place in the semi-final for the under 100s, and the number 2 seed goes into the repechage.
Right, we've got another quarterfinal contest coming up on mat number 3. This time it is the Israeli Peter Palchik who's about to take to the mat. He came in here as the number 3 seed this morning. And his opponent is David Batiashvili of Georgia. It's Palchik in the white judogi, Batiashvili in blue.
So as Sheldon was saying, the number 3 seed coming into this competition, Palchik, representing Israel. Last year picking up a Grand Prix and a Grand Slam medal. Drops underneath there, Palchik, nicely done. Scoring a Wazari with the drop Sianagi. Batiashvili really didn't see that one coming. One of the strongest Georgians in this weight division. Comes in again with the Makakomi, big surprise. Palchik looking to really dominate this quarter-final match, as you can see with the Sianagi, but there you have a counter-attack from the Georgian. As you hear it, the Sianagi, but dropped on his knees. Interesting to see. Again, it was very quick on the Georgian's reaction. As we know, there's an attack coming up, and it was a bit of a 50-50, really. For the Georgian, it was a defensive move, wasn't initiated the attack. It was just more the reaction that he made, knowing that just off that Sianagi. Koichigari there from the Georgian, nicely done. Stumbling his opponent backwards. Palchik still leading with the Wazari, and a minute and a half remaining in this contest. Well, the Georgian really battling back now, tries what looked to be an attempt of that Makakomi that we've seen the Georgians use so many times, which has been quite effective throughout this tournament. But on this occasion, didn't have any grip at all as he entered. Palchik, as you can see, taking that sleeve, trying to control the right side of the Georgian. A Sutemi-Waza attempt from the Georgian draws his opponent down into the ground. Palchek tries to capitalize on there and looking for an opportunity in the Niwaza. Sadly, there wasn't really much on offer for him, but Palchek with the left hand on his opponent's right sleeve. Francis getting his head caught up a little bit, played a waiting game there, waited for the counter. A very half-hearted attack from the Georgian, which cost him the match with the second Wazari for a Wazari Eseti upon. Batiashvili will obviously be slightly frustrated, but right from the beginning of this quarter-final, the Israeli really had dominated the match, looked the stronger and technically the better athlete that went through. Batiashvili will go into the repechage where he'll be up against Benjamin Fletcher of Great Britain a little bit later on. We could go across to mat number 1. Well, 3 minutes and 20 to go, and Turchin taking that lead. Well, there's still a long way to go, but it is starting to upset the odds here. Oh, but not for too long, as you can see there with that Uchimata, which is always a massive danger. Malonga, beautifully done. The arm over the top. Turchin really struggling. Well, she's going to have a battle here. She cannot defend in this contest. There's no Shidos though, and she's coming up to 2.5 minutes remaining, but Malonga, as we know, is a big thrower. And if she can connect with that arm over the top and hooking in for the Ouchi, or she has two options, the Ouchi or the Uchimata, and she'll be very dangerous for Turchin. It's about controlling that sleeve and avoiding it, friend. She's doing quite well about it, but as you can see, right arm was floating around there, and that's always the danger for the Ukraine. As you can see in the corner of the contest, the field of play, watching her teammate and this crucial match, because the winner of this will meet her in the final. Malonga throwing that arm once more. Turchin just touching the feet with the Ojigari, stumbling the French athlete off the field, just off the contest area there, and we're still just under 2 minutes remaining. There's still a long way to go. First Shido been awarded to the Ukraine. Not always a great sign. But for the Ukraine, eating away at the clock down in the Niwas and looking busy there is going to help her quite considerably. Malonga has 1.5 minutes to try and come back in this semi-final. Turchin not making it easy for her. Tactically playing a very strong match here. Circling emotion around her opponent. Obviously trying to see that right hand coming over the top. Tries to keep that down, but fails to do so. The arm comes in over almost onto the belt, where she can hook him for the Uchimata combination.
Can't afford to go another cycle without coming up with an attack now, Turchin, because the referee's looking at that.
That's one good strong attack there that will keep the wolves from the door.
Just getting the timing right. With 50 seconds on the board, you might want to put one more in and then and avoid any of the other types of penalties.
Yes. The thing is, tactically, that's a sound sort of way of looking at it, but the danger is that Malonga can throw. And that what she has to try and do is avoid that right hand from coming over the top, and she's not doing a very good job of it. But that is the real danger here, is that right hand that connects over the top, and she's able to hook in with the Ouchi and then switch it to the Uchimata.
She's back to the position of having to come up with an attack in this cycle again.
Yes.
Well, it's time now for the coach to send out a few signals to his fighter, which he's doing now. Right thing.
And more or less saying, control that sleeve, and that's what you would be saying as a coach. Use your feet, look busy. Any opportunity in Niwaza, take it, because that's valuable seconds been eaten away. But it's 29 seconds, it's not long, is it? So just really, it's about controlling that right sleeve. Sleeve down, move, and keep Malonga away from you.
As Loretta was just saying, Malonga's a dangerous thrower, so let's say that you can avoid getting caught. That's one thing. But you've got 29 seconds to survive. So if you're not thrown, the other thing that you've got to do is avoid picking up a penalty. But every single second now is going to count, because Turchin has only picked up one.
Yes.
So she's not going to get 2 passivity penalties in this time.
Not in 29 seconds, no.
The biggest thing here is to avoid getting thrown.
Well, that's... Oh, that's a Shido. No doubt about it, that's a Shido. If she does that again, it's a Hansokamaki. Oh.
It's okay, she was coming.
She has
to
come
attack,
up. I don't know what she's playing at.
No, wrong move.
She needs to stand up. She lost. I still felt that she had a chance if she just quickly got up.
With 15 seconds.
With 15 seconds. Yeah. She only needed 5 seconds from the mate to get that first Shido. All she needed was another 5 seconds. She just needed to stay strong and attack. And I don't know what she was thinking of. She didn't have enough time, unless that arm was on the end of hers, or she had the shimiwaza right in place. That was never going to happen.
Right, now we can talk all we like about the tactics, but the important thing on that scoreboard there was the single score.
Yes.
Anastasia Turchin scored. After that, she got involved in the tactical battle. Right, we've got repechage contests going on right across the board here. So why don't we stay with Georgia's favourite son, Adam Okruashvili. He's up against Jur Spijkers of the Netherlands. It's Spijkers in the white judogi, Okruashvili in blue. When Mr. Okruashvili decides to turn up, and he's not, he's had enough for the day. So bang goes the clean sweep. Okruashvili didn't make an appearance. So there's the end of that possibility. We've got another repechage contest about to take place here. Jonas Inocencio of Brazil faces Hamza Ushani of France. It'll be Inocencio in the white judogi, Ushani in blue, and then after that we'll have another all-Georgian head-to-head, the semi-final between Goran Tushishvili and Levan Matiashvili. That's coming up next. The semi-final in the under 100 kilo category is not that far off. That's Georges Fonseca and Merab Margiev. In fact, that's coming up next. So we might ask Mario if he could take us to mat number... No, they've changed the Ippon to Wazari, so we'll hang on here for a bit then. Mind you, Sana Blidze might prove a little bit more interesting with Mukhamed Khanov than Inocencio and Ushani. So if those of you who are watching at home want to watch Inocencio and Ushani, just click on mat number 1. But Mario's going to take us to mat number 2 now, where Anissa Sanablidze of Georgia leads. There you go. That's why we wanted to go there. Nice timing, Mario. Well done. Now there's something you don't see every day.
No.
But Surigoshi.
Surigoshi, that was amazing, wasn't it? For a big lad as well, to be able to get that sort of maneuver.
That was lovely.
Definitely a nice one.
And from one big thrower, Anissa Sanablidze, to another, Jorge Fonseca of Portugal take to the mat. In the semi-final of the under 100 kilo category, he faces Merab Margiev of Russia. It'll be Fonseca in the white judogi, Margiev in blue. I know Loretta's been busy filling out the contest sheets, but I know she's going to take her eyes off those sheets for a moment to have a look at Fonseca, the powerhouse of Portugal. Here he is.
Well, yeah, definitely. And you know what? He has had a blinder of a day. There's no doubt about it. He's been really on form. Well, he's definitely one of these athletes that is a massive thrower. Danger is that it goes two ways to him. He can either be on the receiving end or he can be the one that's giving it out. But Oh, and there you have it, the drop. Sianagi once more. We've seen that a few times today and on previous competitions. The Russian there, as you can see, trying desperately to get that rotation over, and there's the edge of the mat. Fonseca trying to defend there. Well, a powerhouse came from the Niwaza position back up onto his feet, with Nurgaliyev just trying to hang off that shimiwaza. Well, nice throw there, continuation into the osakomi. Well, Fonseca in a lot of trouble now as the osakomi is on, and it doesn't look like this Russian's going to let up at all. Fonseca desperately trying to work his way through there. Nurgaliyev looks up at the clock, and there you have the submission from George Fonseca. Well, sadly for this Portuguese, it wasn't going to be. Russian throws that arm. Fonseca made the mistake. He tried to sacrifice, didn't get the full rotation of it, landed on his back. And Nurgaliyev just fell straight into the osakomi. Had worked a little bit hard there to secure it. But the Russian's strong enough and in a good position to capitalize on that real big error from George Fonseca.
Oh, a bit of a shocker.
Yes, well, it definitely was. But
Fonseca.
A nice win there for the Russian, though.
That's the last of the action that we've got on mat number 2. We're going to go back down to mat number 1. We're going to rejoin the contest between Jonas Inocencio and Hamza Ushani. They are in golden score. Both fighters have picked up a penalty apiece. We've had a minute of golden score. But it's the contest that will follow this one that we're really waiting for. That's Tushishvili and Matiashvili. Inocencio just walked off the mat there. And he picks up a penalty for the step out, but he just walked off. And he just looked tired, the Brazilian. He'd stepped off the mat without a great deal of effort to try and stay on the tatami. And then when he went to the ground there, he just left his chin up. And it was an open invitation for Ushani to apply the shimiwaza, which he did, happily. And the result of that was Inocencio tapping out. Losing the repechage contest, it'll be Hamza Ushani to fight for the bronze medal. Okay, we've got a couple of contests left on mat 3. We've still got some judo to take place here on mat number 1, and the upcoming contest is going to be one of the biggest contests of the day. It features the number 1 seed in the plus 100 kilo category. Tushishvili of Georgia faces teammate Levan Matiashvili. It'll be Tushishvili in the white judogi, Matiashvili in blue. Matiashvili has already put out one Georgian. That was his teammate Adam Okruashvili. Right-sided Marotti Senagi. Low down from Tushishvili. Just to get himself warmed up. He got himself into a good position, but he never really drove and never looked as though he was serious about it. Little foot tap there has Matiashvili defending and bent over. You all right, pal? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. So, it's all very friendly at the moment. There's another shoulder throw effort, this time the Yipon Seidov, and now the hip technique from Tushishvili. Left arm around the waist, the Ogoshi, and now again back to the Marote Seidov, and Matiashvili is in another gear here. He's just started, and Tushishvili is racing ahead here. 5, 6, 7, 8 attacks, and Matiashvili not one. Cho Min-sun has recognised that. She offers him up a Shido, which he has to accept. Got no choice in the matter, actually. So she dished that one out, and there's Tushishvili again attacking with Seidov. That time it was a little bit loose. His hands slipped off, and he picked up a penalty for what was adjudged to be a false attack. 240 odd. It seems like they've been going for longer, but maybe that's just the tempo that Tushishvili has employed here, and almost off the wrong side there. He really isn't in this, Matiashvili, at the moment. He can't cope with the tempo that Tushishvili has set. And the funny thing is that it's Matiashvili who's breathing heavily. Tushishvili has done all the work, and yet Matiashvili is the one who's breathing heavily. It's on the onslaught that he's had from his teammate. First time that he's lifted a leg in anger, if you like. And there's another attack from Tushishvili. 220 odd. He must pick up a second here. He does. Second penalty picked up by Matiashvili with well over 2 minutes left to go. And there comes Tushishvili again. The only thing that he's got to be careful of is that he's not spent by the time that the 2 minute mark comes. Over goes Matiashvili again. This time he will score. Great effort there. Good push from Tushishvili. All over, done and dusted. There's no power left in Matiashvili's tank. Tushishvili has burned him out within 2 minutes, and the first time that he's rolled over, he can't move. Absolute lesson in tempo dished out from Tushishvili. It really was terrific. He came in with a plan, Tushishvili, which was to just blast Matiashvili off the mat, either to throw him off the mat or to make sure that the tempo was so strong that Matiashvili couldn't keep up with the pace. And the latter was the case. Too much in too short a space of time, and Matiashvili couldn't live with him. Right, we've got another Georgian in the plus 100 kilo category who has a chance of making it to the final. Semi-final here between Anissa Bukhadze of Georgia. He faces a really, really tough opponent in Javad Majoub of Iran. It's Bukhadze in the white judogi, Majoub in blue. And what a thing it would be if Bukhadze could defeat Majoub, because Majoub is one of the top fighters at the moment.
He has actually had a really good day today. His performance has been a real solid, strong performance. So I do hope he'll get into that final.
The Georgians are hoping otherwise.
I know. I think they've had enough medals as it is, to be honest. Nice to shake it up a little bit.
Could always offer up a bronze for Majoub.
Well, you know what happened yesterday when they were offered up a bronze, they didn't take it. So a big disappointment for Iran. Majoub there with the drop Seidov, nicely executed, moving his opponent well.
just managed to get the right hand down, did Majub, and as a result of that, Bukhadze couldn't finish off that technique. Nice little effort on the right side from Bukhadze with that Uchimata. Here comes Majub again, left arm around the body, making things difficult for the Georgian. He steps round and Kojigari, beautifully done, but it's Bukhadze who's turning in the end. The counter can't count because he has to use his own landing to affect the counter. So he couldn't score. Majub, however, brings Bukhadze down. The question is, did he have enough control at the end to claim a score? He was definitely losing control of that. It was a nice little effort from Majub, but does he have enough control? Yep, they're going to leave that on the scoreboard. Majub it is who scored with Kojigari, bringing Bukhadze down. Bukhadze tried to counter, but it was too late. And there's the Uchimata again. Majub again getting the right hand down to stop Bukhadze from getting the final rotation. Majub continues to lead by Wazari with a little over 2 minutes left to go. Here comes Bukhadze again. How long can Majub continue under the pressure?
Well, he's trying to come round the back. He's strong enough to do so. But there's still a long way to go, isn't there? Two is halfway through this contest.
Bukhadze taking a leaf out of Tushishvili's book by just throwing everything at his opponent in the first 2 minutes. Here he comes again.
Uchigari. Kochi.
Better position here.
Majub. Oh, well, he did well to get off of that.
Yeah.
But Majub really defending now. That's the problem here.
I think he's going to wear him down. As long as Bukhadze has got that little bit left in the tank, he's going to catch Majub. He can't just sit there and hope that he's going to come up with a counter or Bukhadze is going to fail.
Oh, that was a good one. That was very, very close there indeed.
That was better. Majub, instead of waiting for the counter, he's come up with his own attacks.
But the Georgian has put so much work in, and how much does he have left in the tank? There's the hip throw. And there's again another strong Wazari Aseti upon, and that's it all over and done with. A great result for Majub. Oh, the effort that he had to put in for that one.
Well, he found the right tactic in the end, which was, I'm not hanging around for Bukhadze because Bukhadze's not stopping here. There's one attack after another, after another, after another, and sooner or later I'm going to get caught. So the best thing I can do is come up with my own attacks. He scores Wazari, and then he comes up with the second, which finishes it off. He found the way, he found the successful route.
Yes.
But Bukhadze gave him a good run for his money. We'll see Bukhadze in the bronze. We'll see Bukhadze in the bronze medal contest, but it'll be Javad Majub to face Guram Tushishvili in the final of the plus 100 kilo category. Now, I know Loretta's been working very hard at filling out the contest sheets. Let's see how many of those we can run through, read through, and see who it is that we're going to see in some of the medal matches. Let's start with the under 90 kilo category.
Well, we have Batiashvili in the final, and for me, he's actually looked very, very strong, and he's had a brilliant performance throughout. It's been a tough journey for him, but I've got that feeling, being on home grounds as well, based on all this success that the Georgian team has got, I think he could come through to winning the gold. Okay,
Batiashvili in the final. Now, we have had the 60, 66, 73 and 81 all won by Georgians. They've won all four weight categories as for the men so far, and now they've got a chance in the 90 kilo category, which is a little bit of a surprise for me because it wasn't their strongest 90 kilo team. No, but they've got a chance.
But they have a chance here, definitely have a chance. Based on performance just alone, he seems to be the stronger of the two at this moment.
And he's up against
Mercado of Brazil.
Right, okay, let's take a look at the under 100 kilo category.
Well, we've got Kushira of Poland, and he...
Oh, these are the
Oh, sorry,
repechage.
we're
That's
going
okay,
to the repechage. But again, I thought Shiro of Poland would take the other bronze medal, and Koshman. I think he...
Okay, Lee
but saying
Kochman
that,
of Israel.
Kochman,
And gross
this
class
is a
number
very
one seed.
strong number one seed. This is going to be a tough one, but I think the Israeli could come through.
Okay, we'll see what happens there. Let's take a look then at the under 100 kilo category.
Well, we have Palchek. For me, is going to be... Well, I'm quite sure he got through, and get me right on that. Which I'm not a bit... I'm trying to think whether he came through, but I do know that he really impressed me throughout the day. So whether he's in that bronze medal match or not, or whether he's in the final, that's one that I hadn't got a chance to follow up on.
Not to worry. We know the Russian overcame George Fonseca. That was a big talking point. George Fonseca, the Portuguese, number one seed here this morning.
Yes.
Really hot favourite for taking the gold here.
Disappointed.
Missed out. Margiev just caught him.
Fonseca made a massive mistake in that semi-final. Tried to counter, got the bridge, didn't get the rotation. And the Russian just fell into the osakumi. He had to work a little bit to secure it, but definitely Nurgaliyev really on form. I think based on that, he'll have built his confidence up, and it's going to be a strong under 100s. And if it is Palchek that's coming through, for me, he's the one that has shone out in this weight category. I've been quite impressed with him.
Okay, let's take a look at the plus 100 kilo category then. The final is Guram Tushishvili of Georgia. He faces Javad Majoub of Iran.
Well, just looking at that last performance of Majoub and how he was able to defeat his Georgian opponent, I think he's on form and he could come through to winning this. But again, it's a very tall order against the number one seed, Tushishvili, and on home soil. It's going to be a hard one, but I think he could, if he can just compose himself, take away all the atmosphere that's been created here in this arena. He might just do it. He might just take that gold.
Okay, let's take a look at the under 78 kilo category. Final features Audrey Chimeo of France. She's up against Anastasia Turchin of Ukraine.
Well, for me, Chimeo. Definitely. I just cannot see anyone toppling her off the number one position. And Turchin did extremely well against Malonga. Again, at the beginning, we predicted that this could be an all-French final. But Turchin, she got the Wazari in the semi-final at the early stage of that contest and tactically played it very, very well.
Very clever.
A very clever match.
Wasn't attractive, but it was clever. She did what she had to do. Right, the plus 78 kilo category. The number one seed, Marina Slutskaya of Belarus, will face Roman Diko of France in the final.
Well, Slutskaya is the number one seed and is a strong contender. But, you know, I predicted this young lady, Diko. It was a cadet European champion back in 2016. What a performance she's had today.
By the way, she's not well.
And she's not even well.
Yeah, she was unwell this morning.
That is just scary, isn't it? But, you know, even though she's not well, she's impressed the life out of me, and I think she could take the gold medal here today.
Right, it is a 1:45 here in Tbilisi. We're going to take a break for 2 hours and 15 minutes. We'll be back with all the medal matches at 4 o'clock on this third and final day of competition. But from Loretta Cusack Doyle and myself, it's bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.